Hello, everybody. This is Rebecca Freedom, and this is episode number 69. Puns not needed, okay? We get it. This is explicit. Of Heard Not Seen, produced by John Beethan.
That's right. Thank you.
John is going to be jumping in and out of the podcast today. Our topic today is Destroying Your Life, and the subtitle, of course, The Ravings of a Lunatic. That would be me, in case you were wondering who the village lunatic is.
Yeah, we're actually thinking about subtitling the whole show, The Ravings of a Lunatic.
The Ravings of a Goddamn Lunatic. So this is going to be a completely incoherent podcast. Not that I'm saying any other podcasts were coherent, but there's just so much to talk about as we wind down 2017. And whatever that means is just the rituals and habits and traditions that we have around the calendar that we've created. You know, the sun calendar. Around this time of year, everybody goes into the same sort of manic freaking zombie-like action. Oh, it's Christmas. It's time to go buy shit. Oh, fuck. Let's get some white elephants on board and shove food in our mouth. Let's do it and let's regret it next year. Fuck us. Stupid.
I like Christmas. You're ruining it for me.
Well, because I is a raving lunatic. And, okay, so there's some bullet points I want to cover for sure. The first is that the starving artist syndrome, just like the don't be small, live big kind of syndrome. And like, not really necessarily knowing what it takes to be that, and also what role destiny plays in you being who you really are. So we're going to cover some of that. I definitely want to talk about heartbreak because like I am the epicenter of breakup rehab. Rebecca Freedom is the epicenter of breakup rehab. And we're going to talk about that too. And we might talk about sex because fuck it, let's pepper it with some sex because it's a fun topic to talk about. And beyond that, we'll just see what else comes up, what else gets channeled in this podcast. I will say that prior to me jumping into this podcast, life threw me a little bit of a curveball, a little bit of like a, hey, what's that? What's going on? Maybe pay attention to that, which looked like meeting, I believe, Ashley's. So she heads an Eco Alliance and she's an eco artist. So that means she's like pro planet instead of being all like excess. If anybody watched Fern Gully, they'll get the reference, right? Basically, or like the bad guy in Avatar. She's not that. She's like the Avatar who's like, let's go fly on the dinosaur. Like, turn into blue people that have weird freaking antenna sex. See, I know I told you we're going to talk sex, but she's an eco artist and she's going through a breakup. So we're going to give her a little bit of shout out here, just saying she has my old copy, like the OG copy of Breakup Rehab. That's the one, the sort of raw, self-published version of it. And John loaned that out because now the refined and, commercial version is out in the world, published by New World Library. But there's also a seething pile of crap version published by me, Truth and Love Media. What? Or Love and Truth Media.
Yeah, but the cover is unforgettable.
Oh my God. The cover really looks like a freaking just a zombie apocalypse. Like my breakup was a zombie apocalypse. It's like, life as I know it is over. I'm so dramatic. I'm so ridiculous and dramatic. So, yeah, so this year, and I bring her up because no matter what walk of life you're in, we've all had to go through 2017 together. Everybody on the planet who agrees on a calendar has, messed around with this year and the seasons and reasons and debilitations of this year. So some of us really fucked our lives up royally this year. For instance, some people got in abusive relationships and are still not out of them. I'm just going to let that hang there. Are you in an abusive relationship? How would you know that you're in an abusive relationship? And what are you doing about it? An abusive relationship is one, where you're not respecting yourself. You don't even have to fucking be in a relationship with somebody else to be in an abusive relationship. I fucking know. I am an asshole to myself on a daily basis. You're not skinny enough. You're not going out and working out. You need to get out. What's your fucking deal with your freaking finances? Can't even support yourself. What's the issue? And the self-critical internal world that we go in. And then it's really cool when you start to add drugs to that mix. Not that I've done that, but I've definitely having been a breakup counselor and a counselor overall, have witnessed people being like, my internal environment's already fucked. So why not just pile on a bunch of freaking hallucinogenics? That'll fix it. That'll make life better. And a lot of people are like, oh, I just saw so much. And oh my God, I was just out in the ethereal. And listen, I'm really snarky today. I'm just insanely irritated with the current freaking ecosystem that is my life. And I would say that irritation is coming on the precipice of destroying my life. Just fucking destroying it. And I'm just gonna, and I don't mean putting it in the shitter, destroying it. I mean, where you rip and rebuild, where you go through a massive edit, where you're just like, what has been will not be. I'm sorry. Program, circa 2001 that I got after my dad died, that's going away. Bye-bye. Destroyed. Right? The ways that I've gotten into relationship with guys being basically like, oh, I'm going to give you, you're not going to get the full joke. This is part of the stand-up. Just come and freaking tip your waiters and waitresses, have a nice whiskey, and we'll all laugh together. But the freaking short of the joke is that, that your pussy is like the promotion magnet. So basically, if someone sleeps with you, you promoted them already to CEO, and they were just the mail boy. They just wanted to deliver their package and leave. But no, you thought you're going to go to be head of the company, head of the fucking company. And then you realize they'd have zero skills to run a company. So there you are, freaking up there at CFO position or whatever awkward position where you've just promoted somebody into like a freaking role that they have no business being in, but because you promoted them and you're just like, oh, I like having somebody up here because it's lonely at the top, you just desperately try to keep them there. So you keep giving them the pussy promotion day after day. I'm just going to keep promoting you and maybe you'll just like get the hang of this, but they don't ever get the hang of it. And eventually what happens is the company tanks. It tanks and all the stockholders and investors are pissed. Stockholders, investors being your emotions and your fucking sanity out the door. Gone. So anyway, follow me on YouTube because I'll be doing open mics out on tour. So what I'm saying is like the old pussy promotion, like way of doing things is destroyed. Bye. Out the window. Gone. Not anymore. Because I had somebody recently, a guy be like, hey, can I kiss you? Which, by the way, is how the last thing started. You think, oh, they're being polite. But this time I was like, you haven't earned shit. You don't know me. You don't know you haven't put up with sitting around the table with my family and listening to the Republican freaking diatribe that's happening about like, oh, the Mexicans are just ruining it for all of us. Yeah, if you haven't put up with that, you don't get to kiss me. And if you haven't put up with like me telling my stories a couple times over because I forget who the fuck I talk to because I talk to so many people, mainly myself, then no, you don't get to kiss me. And if you haven't freaking been a gentleman and taken me on a date and fed me food and given me some sort of sustenance and proved to me that you are not just a freaking Neanderthal caveman dragging your freaking knuckles all the way to pussy promotion town, then fucking no, you can't kiss me. Because the dial went from orgasm as the goal to intimacy as the goal. Orgasm, pretty much anybody can do that. My right hand does that and my freaking right tricep. It knows what's going on. It's promoted. It's promoted all the way to the top, CEO level. But the rest of me is like, listen, I'm going to need you to take a minute and actually get to know this crazy. Because I had a guy recently tell me I had crazy eyes. Yeah, crazy eyes. What? So listen, okay, if being a woman and having an opinion and having had to take care of myself for a goddamn decade, and not only that, to step into entrepreneurship and not just give over to working a 9-to-5 job, and because I get fired from them, and I get why I get fired from them, because I'm a disruptor and I want to do things my own way. If that means I'm nuts, then yes, I'm nuts. So anywhere that I was trying to fit in, destroyed, gone, bye. Obviously that doesn't work. They're like, oh, my soul came here to fit in. With who? With who? With the masses that are just like, again, with the frickin' zombie that wake up every morning and goes, you know what? I'll tell you what, I got a stable life. My life is so fucking stable. I woke up this morning. I drank coffee at 4 a.m. I totally just injected my freaking adrenals with some stimulant. And then I got in a car and sat there and listened to the goddamn radio on the way there of Rush Limbaugh and just programmed my mind with a bunch of freaking pundit bullshit that doesn't mean anything or connect me to anybody. Then I got to a job and I started to do work at that job. And I hate everybody at the job because they're backstabbing bitches and they're getting promotions that I should have got, but I'm not getting. But you know what? I put a face on and I smile because at least I get a standard paycheck, and that paycheck, the government takes fucking half of it. And then I'm going to come home and bitch to my husband about how the government takes half of my paycheck and start drinking wine and sit in front of the TV. But my life is standard and it's great. I'm glad. I'm happy. I'm good. I'm good to go. Destroyed. Destroyed. No, doesn't work. For me personally, that life doesn't work. And there's this weird delineation where it's sort of like dating, where there's times where you like somebody more than they like you, or another person is like, hey girl, and you're like, fuck no. There's a little meme that I came across that said, I want a man. And a guy's like, hey, and you're like, not you. Not you. I want to, no, not you. So the reality of it is that you freaking are trying to make a way for yourself in the world. And there's these like two delineations that sort of happen. You can make money, but have no soul, be in a soul sucking, hostile environment where you just are basically selling your time. You're just a whore. You're just a time whore, basically. But at least you have a paycheck and you live in the suburbs and you have all the conveniences and everything. And there's nothing wrong with that. Not Costanza. Not that there's anything wrong with that. For everybody out there who watches Seinfeld. On the other side of it, you see these artists, the starving artist syndrome, where it's like, okay, great, I have this purpose and this cause, but ain't no one paying me shit for this, right? I don't even know what I have to do for $1, but I feel soulful inside. I feel connected to something that we call purpose and meaning, although I can't pay my fucking bills and I'm living on credit card. So I'm also beholden to the man. And then there's the very few. That come together on the table, and I guess I'm channeling what, the Godfather here? Yeah, God. Then there's the few.
Marlon Brando, to be specific.
Marlon. Apparently Marlon wants to talk. And there's the few that come together around the table, and they really understand, they respect. It's respect. They give the respect, and with the respect comes the money, and comes the power, and comes the fame. Together. That's how we get there. So it's like how it's a refinement through failing, fucking destroying your life over and over again to even get to that place where you got soul and purpose in cash, right? But then you got other people like, stepping in their private jets and their planes, and they're wearing the Prada and they're wearing the Gucci and they're just like rocking it. And I'm just like, that's gross too, right? Your excess and your freaking like high dollar fare. Like, I know luxury is nice for our bodies and convenience, but really we're in a world that freaking is trying to sustain 7 billion of us. So I feel like there's got to be some consciousness shift where we go, luxury is gross. It's gross. Like, what the fuck are you doing in a house that's like 8,000 acres when there's like you and 3 dogs, right? Ew, Hollywood. Freaking start paying your eco artists. Just saying. Then people that are actually into creating beautiful environments that are actually custom to what your family is going to look like, right? I get it. If you have an 8-person family, you don't want to have 1 bedroom. Unless you're the Mexicans are just ruining everything. Shoved into 1 bedroom together, freaking in Chula Vista. You know, that's in San Diego, people. That's South San Diego, just in case you didn't know, in case you want to Google map that. So I think I'm far into my ravings. How am I doing? Lunatic? I sound fucking nuts.
Well, I can't get a word in edgewise.
Well, obviously. Which
is fine.
Jeopardy theme here. Do 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 doop ba doo doo boop boop boop. I'll take Rebecca's Crazy for 200, please. Really, seriously, just give me your money, people. I need anything. Because we all have a hope and a dream, and I think to myself about what it takes to get there. So here's a crazy thing that happened on my way to Denmark. I don't know. Isn't there like a...
Yeah, there is.
Isn't there like a thing?
But I'm going to let you like Google it later. And
on my way to Denmark, the thing happened. Maybe there's a bus and a raid. I don't know. We're going to make it up as we go along. But for realsy, I have this sweet lady that I've mentioned before, Carrie Webb. Yes. We'll look her up. She runs sweat lodges, and she is a magical mama. She studies Celtic traditions and old witchy traditions. She's been scrying since she was 18. She lived in LA and was on the scene where she was the bartender for the Rolling Stones, and she's got lots of amazing LA stories back in the day. And so her and I recently did a spell together. Because if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that the waves changed and I decided to start studying witchcraft. Because I just was like, guess what, asshole Christians? Every freaking holiday that you have is based on paganism, you freaking misappropriating dicks. I love Jesus. I love the Gospels. I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in John 3:16 that God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. I believe in all of that stuff. It constructs my reality, but I've also had to destroy it as well to really invite in what feels like truth to me and my body. And truth to me and my body is that there was a time in our history where women were shamed and made to feel stupid, and our voices were cut off, and we were burned and hung and drowned and totally tortured. And that was the time of the witch. And so when I say I'm a witch, I say that I'm a powerful woman. And as a powerful woman, you learn rituals. Really, the witch is somebody who has a spell book of rituals that manipulate energy. And for anybody who's into manifestation, it's Carrie with an I, Cari, FYI. So manifestation, you're doing the same thing. Anybody who's like writing your gratitude journal or celebrates Easter or celebrates Christmas or brings in a Christmas tree or hangs anything on the Christmas tree or gives presents, any of that is, or says Yule or, celebrates Halloween. These are all witches' holidays. Okay. So I'm telling you this because on my way to Denmark, not really Denmark, it was more like central San Diego. I went and did a spell, an abundance spell. Super cool. A couple herbs involved and a candle and anointing oil. Not going to give away the whole thing. If you want a spell and you want to really see how magical and powerful they are, call me. Get a hold of me. I'm happy to teach you just some fundamentals. Even clearing spells just to reset your gnarly energy are amazing. And there's one that's as simple as taking dried sage and dried mint and making a wand out of it and wrapping it with different colored string and then lighting it on fire and just letting that burn and smudge through your house. Super powerful. So we did an abundance spell. And up to that point, I was thinking that the tour had to look one very particular way. Oh, I got to book gigs. I got to book talking gigs, and it's got to look this certain way. And I got to really make sure I promote Breakup Rehab so the book sells a lot of copies. And if I get a lot of copies, then I'll get a lot of... there's deterministic sort of ways of doing things. And here's the thing about money. It doesn't always show up in monetary form first. It can show up as an idea. As an inspiration. So I did the spell, and then the next morning, hallelujah, gold mine of ideas just came flooding in. And and I was just like, wait a tick. Why have I been so bashful about Breakup Rehab? Really not being yeah, I'm a published author. Fuck yeah. Getting behind it, big time and stoked on it. And the first thing I realized is because I was embarrassed. Oh my God, I'm 37 and I'm single and I got broken up with and I'm a loser. No, but we go through that process, right? We often think about that internal self-judge that's just like, you're not awesome, you are failing. And we look at our external circumstances as evidence of that truth. So I'm going to tell on myself really quickly, and then I'm going to let you in on the effing gold that hit me after doing this abundance spell. So currently I am roughly $4,000 in the hole on my credit card. My credit card limit is $7,500 because I haven't ever extended the line as long as I've had the credit card. I looked up my credit score and it was around 765. So I've, my credit's at least not in the hole, but it's really good. And I have roughly $1,500 in the bank to be able to launch this trip on. And I may or may not get some deposit money back from where I was renting. My car apparently needs roughly $700 worth of work, which I'm like, okay, no, I'm just going to rent it out to somebody and say, don't drive it long distances, but I'm driving a 99 Civic, which by the way, is sort of, in some ways, it's like, it's at that weird vintage cutoff now of it's been around long enough where like an old Civic like that's a stick shift could sort of be a collector's item if it were the right person. But for most people, it's just a POS car. And the way that I like take care of it, it's covered in dirt and whatever, because I just can't prioritize cleaning it because I have so many other things I'm trying to sort through. What else am I just, so finances are off. I'm taking a 6-month hiatus from having sex, but honestly, if something came along, I'd be like, well, but again, that's really learning about the art of promoting somebody who should be promoted. Major background checks required now. So overall, I got my health. Kinda. I have had lung issues all year long, and my spine is twisting, and my hip is shorter than the other, and I need doctors to be able to come and help me out. But guess what? Don't have the money for it. So I'm gonna just like lay it out where you hear the story. I think you hear all the victory story a lot of times of like Bethany Frankel is somebody who was on Bravo TV as a housewife. And when she went on the show, she said it was completely strategic, but she was like, I didn't have any money. I was like broke. But then by being on the show, that helped launch her career. And but I think we hear these stories of Gary Vaynerchuk, of whomever is successful, and we hear that I was homeless on the bench, but now I'm rich and famous. Well, I am not rich and famous. I'm right smack in the middle of being like, how in the fuck am I going to pull this one off? I think John appreciates that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Dig deep, baby.
With either dig a grave or dig
well, there is a thing called faith,
Faith. Esther Hicks talks about faith being knowing based, that it's like you just have this deep believing or this feeling that it is gonna, what you're asking for is going to manifest.
Yeah, you just need to know, and the more words you use, further away from it you get, I think.
The knowing. Okay, cool. So here I am. This is the position I'm at, and I've got 2 weeks left to pack up my place, and I'm going to be taking some stuff up to my family's house over Christmas and fit whatever can fit in the van, and then go up to San Francisco and begin the adventure and see what comes of it. There's been some cool people that have come out of the woodworks, and we'll see what else transpires from this trip. I do think that it's a good story, and I'll be vlogging the whole thing. But what I realized is that one of my challenges is that my sense of it, what my feedback is, I come across as fucking nuts online. just crazy. I feel like people just tell me, you know, the person that I am, that I show myself as is like the person who dances in the gym or likes to be sexy or whatever, just is like nuts. And I feel like as a counselor, you're challenged because you're supposed to like have the answers. But I'm like, I don't have the answers. I am not the great and mighty Oz. I am somebody that can like augment your journey and your story. That's what I'm here for. I mean, the minute someone tells me they're an empowerment coach, I want to like kick them in the nuts. And if they have ovaries, I want to kick them so hard that I kick their fucking ovaries, because I feel like empowerment coach is immediately saying, guess what? You're disempowered, but I have a freaking program you can buy to be empowered. Won't you do it like I think you should do it? Set your goals here. Ugh, puke. Gross. I'm nuts because I don't see the world in that way. I don't see the world from this sense of like, I see that we get injured through rape, through neglect, through abuse, through perpetration, through deceit, through betrayal, that those are injurious events in our life. But those injuries are not who we are. A neglectful parent or someone who taught you a coping mechanism that worked for a short amount of time that you've been using, like an old iOS system that you need to upgrade. Like so much of the language is around fixing, betterment, but it's like, no, it's just what's it going to take to really nurture, to repair the injury? If you have a broken leg, what cast needs to be put on it? And hopefully that's the role, the nursemaid of any coach that you're working with. But if they're starting you off with a program and a way to do it that's not custom to you and your experience, then fuck them. Run for the hills. Don't pay somebody money, and I'm just going to stand on this, to do that. But if you have somebody that can, again, the old parable, give a man a fish, she'll eat for a day. Teach a woman to fish, she'll fry it up with some butter. There'll be a nice white wine. There'll be a zin. It'll look gorgeous. You'll have some candles on the table, and she'll expect you to show up on time for that dinner.
That's not how I remember it. But.
Teach somebody to fish. They'll eat for the rest of their life. There.
You feed them for a lifetime, okay, or something.
Manja. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is that life is a journey, and there's a lot of people that are going to try to tell you how to walk your path. And the only person that can do that is essentially you and your higher power. So the point I'm saying is, like, oftentimes in our life, the beliefs that we've picked up, the ways we've been doing things, the coping mechanisms we've been using to construct our life, the relationship we have with money, especially the relationship we have with money, which is just get it, spend it, and don't account for it, needs to be destroyed. You need to destroy your life. You need to destroy and uncreate your life. Destroy and uncreate it. And everything that was holding it in place, let it go so that new possibilities can rush in. Now, this is where I get to tell the current results of the abundance spell, the rushing in. I've been really embarrassed about breakup rehab. Period. I've been like, holy shit, I wrote this, oh yeah, bashful, I wrote this book, don't look at me. Because I didn't want to stay in the lane of breakup, right? And I wanted to be able to like create the next thing. Like, okay, good, I got that over, on to the next thing, without realizing how much more nurturing breakup rehab is. Because Eckhart Tolle's book, Power of Now, that's like a worldwide seller, came out in 1998. He's had a minute. My book's been out 3 months and 5 years if you count, or like 3 years if you count the self-published version. So the abundance spell, the first thing it did is you write on the candle kind of what you're wanting to call in. And I wrote success. And then I realized this weight lifted off of me when I was like, why am I embarrassed? This is actually something that is not only radically helped me in my life. Like the words that came through me and rereading them have been medicine, have been truly been not that medicine that tells you this is the way to do it, but the medicine that sort of augments that natural life force prana energy inside of you. So that was the first thing. And then the next morning I woke up and I was like, what? Why haven't I created a breakup rehab journal. Duh. Where it's like there's 12 different steps in the journal. And then I also put in like clearing spell with each step, and then, blank pages where people can just write, and we'll take the best quotes from the book and put them, emboss them on different pages. I was like, God, that could be gorgeous. And that could be something that someone used as their book of shadows, or grimoire, which is basically where you write down your intentions and your spells and your rituals and what you want to create for your life and the progress you've made so far. And I was like, cool. Yeah, we could totally make it. And then I was like, oh my God, what else is possible? A whole effing breakup rehab product line. I was like, obviously, breakup rehab soap. Wash that shit off, wash that shame off, breakup rehab tinctures and teas and fitness programs and breathing exercises. So beyond just being stuck, when this is really honestly, before the spell, I was totally stuck in this like service mindset. I got to grind. I got to go meet people, which I got to tell you, the introvert in me is really, it's uncomfortable. And you wouldn't know that about me, but rejection is not something that I'm not, susceptible to. So then I had all this idea about, oh my God, what would it take for me to move in the product market? And I was like, an e-commerce website, a freaking Jewish lawyer named Leibowitz to be able to handle the licensing of things, and just to really grow this into something that actually turns into, and I did have this idea earlier, turns into an actual center that people can come to when they're going through breakups, because I don't know that we really acknowledge it as such a fertile time in our lives where there's a death without a death. And we try to move past the pain so quickly. And even so, in the destruction of our lives, we have this ability to receive pure gold. The belief that we had about our partner being our forever partner and what that meant for us, destroyed, gone, destroyed, uncreated. The belief about our financial system and the stability of the freaking wake up and go, like, yeah, you're trading your time, but like sometimes you have to destroy that too. And you see people who just walk away from these jobs. So I'm inviting you to rethink the destruction of your life, and that it's something you should do every morning. And the clearing statement from Access Consciousness is a really good way to do it. I destroy and uncreate my life. Good, bad, right, wrong, POC, pod, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. We'll put that in the show notes, the clearing statement. So anywhere that you come to the conclusion about what happiness is, or what sadness is, or what anxiety is, or what depression is, or what money is, or what money isn't, would you please destroy and uncreate that? Good, bad, right, wrong, POC, pod, all 9, shorts, boys, and beyonds. All right, I think I'm raving lunatic out, so I'm going to do a quick review here. If you are in a position in your life where you're wanting to manipulate energy to create more for yourself, rituals and spells are a really powerful way to do that. That doesn't mean you're blaspheming God. It means that you're tapping into the ability where he says, you are made in the image and likeness of me, to be able to create and to destroy. And oftentimes, if for no other reason, rituals and spells create a really powerful and exacting placebo effect that allows for more for you. So if you would like some clearing spells, some money spells, some love spells, some rituals around that, I invite you to reach out to me. And if you want to experience the power of Access Consciousness, which is clearing all your points of view from this lifetime and other lifetimes so you can create more from yourself, I invite you to reach out to me. And if you are stuck in your life and you are working with a counselor, or you're working with a coach where you feel like, oh, this is pretty good, but it's not getting me all the way there, and you want to get all the way there, and you want to feel really that potency inside of you. And I want to tell you this, some of the most potent people are the people that are most patient people. I'll say it again. Some of the most potent people in life are the most patient people that are persistent and diligent and stay on task. They're able to amend along the way, able to adjust, able to learn and grow. But patience between the inspiration and the action it takes to bring it into fruition is oftentimes what makes you the most potent and powerful creator. If you want to know more about that and you want to live a life of freedom, please reach out to me at RebeccaFreedom.com. That's REBEKAH freedom.com. Also, I invite you to go to Amazon.com and purchase Breakup Rehab right now. It is the breakout book of 2018, and it will also set you free. So thank you so much for listening, and be set free.